Many consumers treat automobile rental as a low-cost competition rather than focusing on the value of the bargain they ultimately get, in terms of the type of car, what's included, air conditioning, automated gear change, etc., and the type of service they're getting. The problem is that the car rental market is extremely competitive, and rate differences for comparable quality and service are often as tiny as $10 to $20. When you consider the long lines and lost time at the cheapest renter counter, drop charges for remote destinations, late return fines, gasoline inflated rates, and other service charges you didn't think about when you shopped for the best deal, these minute price differences will vanish in the wind. Don't get us wrong, we don't like paying more for things than you do. We encourage that you shop around and compare rates, especially now that it's so simple to do so on the internet through comparison sites. All we're saying is that you should think about more than just the price, and that when you compare apples to apples, not apples to pears. When renting a car, there are a few things to keep in mind. Is the car being used by yourself on a business trip or by the entire family? How much luggage will you have, and is the automobile you're considering big enough to fit you all, together with all your handbags and large suitcases? If not, you might want to consider upgrading to a minivan or a vehicle with a large trunk. Do you require an infant seat or a booster seat for your child? Make sure it's stated explicitly in your purchase. There's generally a lack of these seats, and they're offered at an additional cost. Check the legislation of the state where you'll be traveling. For example, a recent regulation in Denver mandates booster seats for all 4 and 5-year-olds under 55 inches tall. Do you really need a car for the first few days in the town or city? If not, consider taking a cab, a bus, a train, or the hotel shuttle into the city. Then, when it's time to leave town and drive around, rent a car from a city location and save up to 15% on airport costs as well as municipal parking fees. Are you planning a trip to a hot and humid location? If so, ordering a car with air conditioning is recommended. The cost difference is usually minor. The problem is that it is not available in all destinations, such as several European countries. Although most major rental car companies provide unlimited mileage within the same state, it's a good idea to double-check before booking. After 100 to 200 free miles a day, many smaller local independent providers charge mileage. As previously said, pricing is not the main consideration when selecting a car rental company. If you choose with a small, unknown company, don't expect them to give service across the entire country or continent. What will you do if the car needs to be replaced or serviced? Programs for frequent or preferred renters as well as affiliations. Programs for frequent renters, major automobile rental firms, like airlines and hotels, keep track of their clients' rental history and provide loyal customers preferred treatment. Most major corporations provide frequent renter programs akin to airline frequent flyer and hotel frequent guest programs. Favorite Renters Clubs, the Hertz No. 1 Club is one example of a preferred renter program or club offered by most major automobile rental businesses. You get preferential treatment if you belong to one of these clubs, including automatic upgrades when those automobiles become available. Even if you are a first-time renter with that firm, you can join these programs at any time. While basic club memberships are frequently free, higher-level memberships, such as the Hertz No. 1 Gold Club, which allows you to skip the rental counter, are usually not. Most consumers are unaware that they may typically avoid the membership cost by simply writing or calling their automobile rental business and requesting a waiver. They'll do it since the automobile rental market is extremely competitive, and they want your business. If you're still stuck with a high cost, look into getting discounts through organizations like AARP, AAA, or others. These reductions are rarely substantial, but they are preferable to nothing. In addition, if your circumstance requires it, always check for corporate rates. Insurance for car rentals. Some of the insurance terminologies appear to be perplexing, so let's try to decipher them first. Collision Damage Waiver, CDW, is a type of insurance that protects you in the event of a collision. LDW stands for Loss Damage Waiver. Physical Damage Waiver, PDW, is an acronym for Physical Damage Waiver. Personal Accident Insurance, PAI, is a type of insurance that covers you in the event of an accident. Personal effects coverage, PEC, is a type of insurance that covers your personal belongings. Additional liability insurance, ALI, is a type of liability insurance. Because many credit cards include most of these benefits, it is not necessary to acquire additional coverage. It's a good idea to check with your travel agent, insurance agent, and credit card company ahead of time about this. You may be required to produce proof of insurance by some car rental businesses. Also, keep in mind that your personal insurance will most likely not cover your rental automobile if you're traveling internationally. Because there are no industry standards for terminology and policies vary by area, all of this is quite convoluted and at times perplexing. Before leaving the airport, there are a few things you should check and do. It's natural that after a long journey and waiting in lines for your luggage, and then your keys at the car rental counter, you'd simply like to get in your hired car and drive away to your hotel, but hold on. Here's a checklist of items to look over first. Start by carefully inspecting the vehicle for any small dents or scratches. If you find any, don't be lazy. Return to the rental company's office and request that a representative write down all of the dents, along with a copy of the report. Otherwise, you may be held liable for losses that you did not cause. Open the trunk and check for a spare tire, a jack, and a set of tools. Nothing is more aggravating than discovering you don't have a jack when you need to repair a flat tire in the middle of nowhere. If you ask, many car providers will offer you a spare key. This can be useful for those of us who are easily distracted. Spend some time familiarizing yourself with the car's features and controls, making sure you know where the light switches are, how to work the windshield wipers, air conditioner, and even set your favorite radio stations and side mirrors. Fighting with the new switches while driving can be somewhat irritating, especially if it suddenly begins raining. Make sure you have a map, and it's a good idea to take a few extra minutes to plan your trip. Finally, if you have a lot of luggage, don't park the car in a parking lot and go for lunch. In many countries, this is an ideal target for thieves. It's best to buy sandwiches and beverages at the airport or stop anywhere along the road for refreshment, but never leave the car alone. In the event that you are involved in a car accident, here is what you should do. The following is the most crucial information to obtain from the persons involved: full name, mailing address, phone number, insurance information, and driver's license number. Attempt to obtain the names and contact information of any witnesses to the accident. Take down the make, model, color, brand, and license plate number of the vehicle. Attempt to establish the accident's exact time and place. If the cops are called, make sure you acquire a copy of their report. Don't forget to notify your insurance agent and the car rental company right away. They will explain their accident method to you. The car rental provider will have to file the claim if you acquired insurance via them. If the rental automobile is damaged, there will be a lot of paperwork to fill out. Ascertain that all parties engaged are in good health. Any injury should be treated as soon as possible. The police and/or ambulance should be called first, followed by the car rental agency. Make every effort to work together. Accident policies will be determined by the car rental company. Exchange information with others that are affected. Try to capture everything that happens on the scene. Details of the collision, identification of the vehicles and people involved, and the names and badge numbers of all emergency workers should all be recorded in your notes. If at all feasible, take photographs. If you're on vacation, you'll almost certainly have a camera with you. File an accident report with the police, then notify your credit card or insurance company of the claim. When it comes to returning the car, make all required arrangements to return the car on time, including checking the location on a map, especially if the car is being returned in a foreign city. Second, if you are late, you will most likely not have time to fill the car with gasoline yourself, and the rental company will charge you excessive inflated gasoline costs. If you return the car on a Sunday in a city, the station may be desolate. It will let you in via automatic gate. Make sure to collect the card and place it on the dashboard. This is your recorded arrival time. In addition, lock the car and place the keys, as well as your rental contract, in the specified box.